if they do go out of the Champions League before the last 16.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we need to talk about Manchester City and their start to the season. I know a lot of you are thinking that City are just having a slow start and that they'll turn it around in the next game. But don't underestimate the pressure of a Manchester derby. A game like this can either springboard a team back into form or completely derail their season. So here's the question for today. Has Pep Guardiola overstayed his time at Manchester City? Now, let's get one thing straight before we dive in. Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers in football history. What he's done for the game, his tactical innovations, his standards, and his trophies will be remembered forever. 6 Premier League titles in 8 years, a Champions League, domestic trebles, unbeaten runs. That is legendary. But here's the thing. Greatness doesn't last forever. And I think teams are starting to unravel Pep's tactics, finding new ways to play against him. City don't look as invincible as they once were. When you look at Pep's career, there's a pattern. He's always taken over world-class teams. At Barcelona, he had Messi, a player who could single-handedly change games. And even without Messi, that midfield of Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets was one of the best ever. Barcelona were stacked. Yes, he came in when the club was in transition, but the star power was enough to dominate. At Bayern Munich, it was the same story. He inherited a squad fresh off a Champions League win, full of stars like Lahm, Schweinsteiger, Robben, Ribery, and Neuer. They dominated the Bundesliga, but Pep never won the Champions League there. With that squad, people expected more. Then came Manchester City. Here's where it was slightly different. The squad wasn't as strong when he arrived, but City gave him essentially a bottomless pit of transfer funds. He rebuilt the team in his own image, especially the fullbacks, and turned them into a domestic powerhouse. Pep's City raised the standards of the Premier League to insane levels. Liverpool once got 97 points and still finished second. The way City dominated possession, pressed teams into submission, and broke records was unbelievable. His tactical ideas, the inverted fullback, positional play, false nines, have influenced almost every top team in Europe. But fast forward to now, and it feels different. This season, City don't look the same. Losses are becoming more regular. That aura of invincibility is gone. Yes, Erling Haaland will score goals, but goals mean nothing if the team doesn't win games. A big issue is squad depth. Pep prefers working with a small squad, but that means when one key player goes down, the whole system looks shaky. Last season, when Rodri was unavailable, City looked lost. This season, similar cracks are showing. Some players also look like shadows of themselves. Phil Foden, for example. Many thought he'd reach his peak early, but right now he looks stuck. And then there's Jack Grealish. At Aston Villa, he was electric, an individualist who could change games. At City, he lost that spark trying to fit into Pep's rigid system. And despite his £100 million price tag, the media gave him a free pass. Now at Everton, he's already surpassed his goal contribution from last season because he's allowed to express himself again. So maybe it's not just the players. Maybe it's the manager. The question is, has Pep run out of ideas? For years, he's been the innovator, the guy everyone copies. But when other managers learn to counter your style, you either evolve again or risk falling behind. Right now, City look like a team that's struggling to adapt. And let's be real, the media still protect Pep. Every time City lose, it's always they'll turn it around. But what happens if the losses keep piling up? Will people finally start asking the tough questions? Look, no one can deny what Pep has done for Manchester City. He took them to the top of English football, set new records, and made them a European force. But maybe, just maybe it's time for a change. Maybe the same voice in the dressing room for nearly a decade has started to wear off. Oh, here's my take. City's problems are not just about personnel. They're about the manager. And as good as Pep has been, overstaying at a club can sometimes do more harm than good. Anyway, that's my honest opinion on Pep Guardiola's future at Manchester City. Do you think he's run his course? Or will he reinvent himself once again? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned, because in the next video, I'll be breaking down why I think Mikel Arteta may never win the Premier League.